It's time.
It's my last day today, you know.
To say goodbye.
Where's Pete? Look, it's nothing personal. He's just gone out on his own.
It's time to settle old scores.
I know where the gun is.
It's time.
Remember, we're both going to get what we want, eh?
For a dramatic conclusion, City Central. Next Saturday, 8:15, BBC One.
A look at the weekend weather now on BBC Two with David Brain.
Hello and welcome once again to Weatherview. We're going to start with India and Pakistan, where at this time of year the pre-monsoon heat really is giving some pretty high temperatures. Here in a place in Pakistan, unfortunately I can't pronounce the name, they've seen figures as much as 47 degrees, a little bit above the May average, but very hot, and really that heat extends all the way across in towards the more central parts of India as well. We can see there are bits and pieces of cloud on our satellite picture. That really is good news, because that means is the monsoon rains aren't far away. And once the rains start to arrive, it does begin to cool down. We can see the winds already established across much of the Indian Ocean, coming in from the southwest and then around into the Bay of Bengal and feeding in a little bit of moisture into northeastern parts of India and also into Bangladesh. And we can see that on our forecast charts. There's bits and pieces of rain arriving here, as well as lots of rain starting to appear down in the far southwest. Mostly in the form of showers, but it won't be long before that turns to more persistent rain, and it'll eventually get up towards Pakistan as well and cool things down. No problems across the Middle East, fine and dry for the next few days, and pretty hot also for many cities across Africa. One or two of the cities could see some showers. Lagos, Nairobi, and maybe even Johannesburg and Cape Town catching a shower over the next couple of days. One place that's been unusually cold, in contrast to that warm weather, has been Ankara in Turkey. Friday night actually saw a frost. That's pretty unusual for the time of year, but the good news here is that it does start to warm up over the next few days as warm air starts to drift in off the Mediterranean. Across the rest of Europe, I think the highest figures we're likely to see are perhaps in parts of the Mediterranean, down in towards Spain and Portugal. That's where we keep the heat, and no problems for this part of the Mediterranean, but up towards places like Italy, we're likely to see a little bit more rain creeping in as the weather front moves down from the north. Mixture of sunshine and showers for many eastern areas of Europe, and some sunshine to enjoy in both Spain, Portugal and up across France. Bordeaux's temperature, a very pleasant 25 or 26 degrees. Some rain in southern parts of Scandinavia, and that's all tied in with this deep area of low pressure that's right out in the Atlantic, and it does get a little bit closer to the British Isles as we move through Tuesday and Wednesday. Some fairly stiff winds circulating around that system, feeding in these bands of rain. This is Sunday's forecast. Some brightness in these more sheltered central and eastern areas. I'll probably see the highest figures here as well, as much as 19 or 20 degrees. Well, let me take you a little bit further ahead. Let me take you to the forecast for Monday, because it becomes a little bit more straightforward by then. Lots of showers around, the last little bit of more persistent rain moving away from the northeast of Scotland, and then really we're seeing those showers being fed in on a fairly stiff breeze. And that wind could be quite strong at times as well, and a little bit cooler than the temperatures we're expecting through Sunday. Now, Tuesday's forecast is a little bit similar. Perhaps some of the more sheltered eastern counties of England and Scotland seeing a little bit of sunshine at times, and in between many of these showers as they feed through we'll see some brightness and some sunshine. Typically temperatures between 17, 18 and maybe as much as 19 degrees. That's all from me. Have a good evening.